This episode is proudly supported by OpenTable.
Nearly 1/3 of diners are booking same day. So they're making those decisions on the spot. And 10% are making their bookings within just a few hours. And so it's why it's so important to have booking software like OpenTable, which allows your diners to discover you. And so when restaurants are on platforms like OpenTable, they're much more likely to be discovered. We help diners to connect to restaurants. Ultimately, having technology, using technology, helps you to reattach to those diners.
Experience the power of OpenTable. For an exclusive offer, visit restaurant.opentable.com.au/DITW.
I really love the wine industry and I love it from the ground up. And it's made me realize how small a part I play being a sommelier on a floor. It means that I get to see the cream of the crop of wine. And I've been a lot more interested in the whole sector of wine and how the industry operates and how I can support the industry when I'm not just selling wine on a floor.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Last time we caught up with Shanteh Wale. She was leading the huge team of sommeliers out of a lockdown and back to normal operations at Quay. Then the Sydney lockdown forced Quay to close yet again. As she and her team prepare to swing the doors open, she joins us. Shanteh, how are you?
I'm really well. Thanks so much for making the time.
You've had a pretty crazy year and a half and really long spells of being closed as a restaurant, longer than many others, even though there's been lockdowns. So what sort of impact has that had on you?
Yeah, it's certainly something different. I think the opportunity, or not, let's not an opportunity, but the fact that we've been through it twice. The first time I was really uncertain and scared because I didn't really know what it meant. Whereas this time around, even though we thought we're only going for 2 weeks and it's been much longer, I think we all had a bit more awareness of what we were in for. And personally, I feel like I've handled this one much better because I put a lot of things into place that I realized just towards the end of last time. So making sure that I had a little bit more structured routine throughout the week, making sure I look after my mental health and having goals every day. So I kind of put those into place straight away. And I feel like this time I've thrived more than just kind of handled it. So, but it has been a long time, that's for sure. And I'm very grateful for the next door neighbours and then just the interactions that I've had with the community that I live in, just because they were just somebody that you would see throughout the day, which was nice.
Quay's approaching things a little bit differently to some other venues and waiting a couple of weeks before opening. What's the thoughts behind that?
I think we wanted to give ourselves the best possible chance to open up and have everything in place. We have really strict COVID measures, and we've always been at the kind of forefront with Think. But also just, having a look at the menu, having the time to get some training in before we open up. Pete's been quite busy, and so we want to make sure that when we're there, we're all confident in what's happening. We're confident in the new dishes and that we open up with our best foot forward. So, yeah, giving it just a little bit of a time. We obviously don't have an outdoor area either, and we really don't lose many seats with a structuring of the square metre rule. So essentially, it's business as usual.
It's been a time for people to reflect and change their lives, but also change the operations of a restaurant. Will Quay be different to what we remember a year and a half ago?
I think we've just grown, hopefully creatively. In terms of structure of menu, we are keeping it fairly similar. I think just the consideration, we know now a little bit of how keen people are to come back in to celebrate. And so we want to kind of have that mentality of that positivity when we come back, celebrating being together, celebrating family events that were missed. So I think that, we're still going to be a destination dining, but really it's all about just the important things in life that we've learned, which is that we need each other and that we want to be together. And I certainly know that's what I'm looking forward to most, is seeing my team and seeing the people that I work with, which I've really, really missed. They become a little bit like family. So I can't wait to walk in the door and just be together and then, of course, it's all about the guest and welcoming them. But at the moment, I'm just looking forward to seeing these people that are so important to me.
In a drinks sense, what's exciting you about this summer?
I've been really busy this lockdown with doing a lot of tastings, and the industry it's been so different this time around. Everybody's got on board with a lot of Zoom tastings, but packages being dropped off, new releases being celebrated despite the fact we're in lockdown, and the industry's been incredible. I mean, I live an hour and a half out of the city, and people have driven down to drop me off new samples and releases. So I've seen a lot of wine, and I just can't wait. Yeah, some of the people that you've connected with, they've brought the whole team together, driving out samples to the 9 different sommeliers around the city. And we've got together and we've stayed connected through that. So I really now it's my turn to give back to those people that have made us feel connected. And so lots of new releases and lots of new wineries that are about as well.
What sort of connections have you developed, and what do they bring to your team in the way that they then can deliver what they do on the floor?
Oh, I think that I'm so lucky in my position in that I get a lot of opportunities to travel and to see lots of new wines. But the distributors and the producers that have involved my whole team is what means the most to me, because it's really exciting when someone comes around to your door and drops off a bottle of wine. You feel really lucky. And the fact that they've involved the whole team and not just me necessarily because I'm the one making the purchasing decisions, that's what's really meant a lot to me. So then when we get back on the floor and we've had that collective experience of someone dropping off, say, 6 bottles of wine, and we got to taste them, and then I got to see them the next day and see how they developed over time. That's what's going to be so exciting, is that almost all that training's already done, and having the winemaker in front of you for an hour, 2 hours sometimes, just answering their questions, and we got to experience that together. It's kind of a no-brainer. You put those wines on by the glass and they just sell themselves because the somms are so excited about talking about them.
Vaccination rates are quite high, and it's giving society the chance to open up again. What do you think the impact will be on the hospitality sector over the next year? What are you expecting?
It's an interesting question. I think that hospitality is really good about making things work and just getting on with it. You get a guest that turns up and they're late and they couldn't find the restaurant, or they've just had a family fight. We're the people that kind of put things back together and put people at ease and make families feel less awkward at a dinner where they're meeting for the first time or whatever it is. So I think hospitality is so good. Maybe that's a burden sometimes, but most of the time we're very good at getting on with it and making people feel comfortable. That's what we do. So I think that we will see probably a little bit of a stumble at the start, just trying to work out exactly how people feel, but we'll find a tone and a way to make people feel comfortable and get over that, I think, and just come back to it's all about eating and drinking and sharing a meal and looking forward to great company.
What's changed about you? Has this experience changed the way you see your role in the industry and what you want to get out of it?
Yeah, I think it has, because I think what I've realized is that I really love this industry, but I love the wine industry and I love it from the ground up. And it's made me realize how small a part I play being a sommelier on a floor. It means that I get to see the cream of the crop of wine. And I've been a lot more interested in the whole sector of wine and how the industry operates, how retail operates, and how I can support the industry when I'm not just selling wine on a floor, how I can support by writing articles and showing a little bit more awareness on struggling wineries or what they're doing through the bushfire. I want to be able to support them in everything I do, not just when I'm slinging booze on a restaurant floor.
Well, you get the chance to sling booze soon on the restaurant floor. How's it going to feel when the doors do open and you get to do what you do so well?
It's going to be so exciting. I mean, it's just part of my makeup to welcome people and talk about wine and see people's joy at lighting up when they find something new. But I'm really also just looking forward, like I said, to seeing the team. And sometimes I think with hospitality, we have to remember to be kind to ourselves, that we have to put our health and our wellness at the forefront. So I'm really looking forward to having some fun with the team. We're going to bend over backwards for whatever the guest wants, but I just also want to make sure that all my teammates are doing okay and that we have a laugh together, because that's what I've really missed.
Well, Shanteh, that moment is not too far away. We've loved having you back on Deep in the Weeds to catch up. Good luck with everything, and we'll catch up again soon.
Can't wait. Thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast, or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.